The program that we're doing with the Department of Justice actually has a long history and foundation in our community. In 1998, we actually were awarded a grant from the Department of Justice called the JUMP Grant, the Juvenile Mentoring Program. And from that program, we actually did a lot of innovative things for that time. Again, this was in 1998. But we were very much about not just the one-on-one mentoring, but understanding that if you're really going to make change in a community, you really got to deal with the individual and their family and the community in which they live. The importance of that was really the foundation that it set, so that when the opportunity for this grant came around, we were ready. We were adding on to an existing foundation. We were adding value to things that we had done, and this really helped to propel our efforts with this particular program, because things have changed since 1998, and how you have to deal with young people and the issues that they face is really a lot different. These kids are going to take our place. They're going to run our community, and so we've got to equip them with what they need, no matter where they are in their life and what they have done. They're going to be our future.
So we're going to talk about our cohort that's coming up in February. We had our last one end in December. So we started with 6 kids and all 6 graduated.
Perfect.
San Antonio is historically segregated. You have the east side that is historically Black / African American, then you have the west side that is historically Mexican American. We realized that the need for culturally friendly resources have to be set in place in these areas, otherwise the community can't relate.
It takes a special person to become a mentor, to talk to youth, to talk to the community, to get their trust. Some of the language you speak is not correct in the Queen's English, but you don't use the Queen English on any city USA. You have to talk and walk just like they do.
I was a lost soul for many years, and when I came into Public Allies and to West Care, I was able to serve and to be served on a level that I was never given before as a resident here in the East Side.
Offering these opportunities to people as a second chance, as a way to come back in and get their life together, I think is very important, because we can relate in a sense that maybe not your typical person who has a PhD or has studied this field can relate to you.
From 12 to 19, I was in and out of the juvenile justice system, and those are the kids I am working with. But when I was going through all that for those 7+ years, I'd had people come in and talk to me. Hey, there's this option, there's this option, there you could do this. This is what a possibility is for you. But they've never lived the path I was living. They've never walked down the road I was walking. I'm hoping to reach these kids to where I wanted to be reached by somebody who actually knew what they were talking about. Even if it's the same dealer, the second time you go buy another 10, it's a different batch. So keep that in mind on this next slide. This is how easy it is to get something that's actually not from a doctor that you don't know is 100% safe. So do you really want to take the chance?
We have to make sure that the kids are in an environment where they're learning how to structure, right?
The way that young people move now, it's with lightning speed. Everything is instantaneous. Life is not like that. The way that they're going to respond to people is not like that. We wanted these children to have great, good decision-making skills and great experiences, and that's why we've got to be able to give them enough ammunition to be able to counter some of the negative forces that they're going to run into.
I worked with children over the summer program. I taught them art therapy. Kids that have experienced adverse childhood experiences usually tend to be introverted. They don't want to cause any problems. They don't want to bring alarms to anybody. They don't want to be seen. I'll give them an assignment and tell them, hey, what does sadness look like to you? And then once they're able to let it out on the canvas, they can actually talk about it. And it's kind of an introductory way for them to speak about it.
Last year, I brought to the table some of my work experience. I was a carpenter, or an apprentice carpenter, and we build picnic tables and cornhole, and I'm trying to give them new habits. They put just as much effort into building these tables as they do when they're on the basketball court, which I thought was amazing because nobody got hurt, nothing was messed up, the tables came out perfect, and we're using them at these apartments that we house women and children that are trying to get off the streets.
We augmented our summer program. We're able to make our meetings a little bit more fun and engaging because your typical child is not going to want to just come into a meeting about substance abuse and mental health unless they're really interested, and we're able to draw them in and give them something so that they're not looking for it somewhere else.
Children are falling through the gaps, and because they don't have any alternatives. West Care has given them the way to be creative, the way to use their imaginations, the way to use their words. West Care has looked at the whole cycle of life and says that through this funding, we can make a difference.
Without the funds, it makes it a lot harder to do. Now, because I am just darn persistent and I'm gonna make it happen one way or another, it will still happen, but it will not happen to the degree that it could happen. And we would not be able to help as many children as we can help.
I hope that these kids listen and hear me out and take in what I'm saying, because I've been through so much. I don't want them to go through even 1% of what I've been through.
People think nonprofits just, so you get some money and you go do good things. There's a lot that goes into trying to do good things. It is hard work. We really are getting the next generation ready who are gonna take our places and run this country. We better be invested in that if we want this country to really do well, or we're not going to be successful, and the stakes are too high for us to fail.